Hello and welcome to Alfons Stylize. My name is Johanna Nagelsbach. I'm the grandniece of the painter Alfons Stylize. As we learned in the last video, more than 2000 paintings were destroyed in the fire in the Glass Palace in Munich in 1931. What was on display back then? Were there any developments in art? You can find out in this video. The plight of artists remains dire. Art is not being purchased. If art plays a role at all, it is where it serves a purpose. In churches, public buildings, and as decoration. Art of this period does not provoke. Like Otto Dill's paintings, it depicts beautiful landscapes or pleasing motifs. The German Building Exhibition in Berlin focuses on housing for everyone. The Bauhaus Dessau is praised for the comfort and coziness it has brought to a two-room apartment. The Bauhaus left conservative Weimar in 1925. In Weimar, the College of Architecture now succeeds the Bauhaus. Since spring 1930, Professor Paul Schulze-Naumburg, a staunch National Socialist, has been director of the College of Architecture. He has the murals and reliefs created by Oskar Schlemmer for the first Bauhaus exhibition in 1923 whitewashed. Oskar Schlemmer is deeply hurt. Secretly, quietly and silently, National Socialist propaganda is infiltrating art. On 4th of July 1931, the newspaper Stadt- und Dorfanzeiger in Neustadt reports on a lecture given by Kurt Kölsch, head of the Neustadt branch of the Fighting League of German Culture. Kölsch polemicizes against expressionism, arguing that true art should always show the beauty in life. Today, however, artists were no longer born, but artificially created through mean, sophisticated advertising. What at first glance reads like a kind of art criticism is in fact nasty Nazi propaganda. The Fighting League of German Culture was founded in 1928 by the Nazi chief ideologist Alfred Rosenberg. The aim of the association was to have a decisive influence on cultural life in Germany. It is frightening for me to see how strong the National Socialists exerted their influence and spread their ideology well before 1933. Rosenberg was involved in the systematic extermination of the Jews, was sentenced to death at the Nuremberg trials and executed. At least there are other voices. On 30th of November 1931, the writer, art critic and cultural historian Wilhelm Hausenstein publishes an article in the newspaper Münchner Neueste Nachrichten, entitled Is Art Dying? How much more difficult is it to write about art in a meaningful and nuanced way in these terrible times, rather than simply disparaging art movements in a simplistic manner as the National Socialists do? At least Hausenstein offers encouragement. Art is as little dead as human beings, albeit endangered, are dead. One day it will be renewed to the extent that human beings return to their true nature. Hausenstein, who opposed National Socialism and anti-Semitism, was dismissed without notice from the Münchner Neuesten Nachrichten in 1933 under pressure from the National Socialists and was no longer able to publish. Thank you for joining me in looking at the development of art, or better, the lack of development of art, at the beginning of the 1930s. In the next video, we will see what else is happening in Neustadt in 1931. I look forward to seeing you again.